The moment the 9-year-old's little face disappeared beneath the deep end, his 11-year-old brother lunged in after him, both screaming for air while I was still half finished with the garden fence. "Hey, you've landed on mindsnap. Okay, I need to pause here. What just happened?" Two kids, barely old enough to ride a bike without training wheels, turned my backyard oasis into a near-fatal splash zone, and I was the one who had to yank them out like a scene out of a low-budget action movie. No, this isn't a dramatized shark attack reenactment. It's exactly how it unfolded, and it set off a chain reaction that still has the entire cul-de-sac buzzing. The calm before the chaos. Let me set the stage. I'm a 34-year-old guy who, after a decade of "I'll never own a pool because I can't afford the upkeep," finally saved enough to install a 1-2x2 4-foot concrete rectangle in my backyard. It's the kind of thing that makes the neighborhood kids' eyes light up and the adults whisper, "Finally, a place we can actually use the grill without the smoke drifting into the street." My neighbors across the fence, let's call them the Martins, have 3 kids: Milo, 7, Sam, 9, and Jess, 11. We've always been on good terms. We've swapped Halloween candy, helped each other shovel snow, and, on occasion, the kids have waded into my pool while Mom kept an eye on them from the kitchen window. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? A little community pooling, pun intended. That is, until the day the water turned from a refreshing retreat into a silent, choking threat. The near drowning. It was a Saturday afternoon, the kind of day where the sun feels like it's trying to melt the asphalt. I was on my backyard ladder, tightening a loose rail for the pool's new safety fence. From my perch, I could see the kids splashing, laughing, and, more importantly, the adult supervision, or lack thereof, floating somewhere in the distance. Their mother was inside, presumably scrolling through her phone or preparing a snack. At first, everything seemed fine. Milo was doing the classic doggy paddle in the shallow end. Sam was testing the big boy strokes in the middle, and Jess, ever the overachiever, was daring herself to reach the far side of the deep end. Then Sam's face turned a shade paler, his arms flailing as he sank past the 5-foot mark. He was struggling, his head bobbing, his hands clawing at nothing but water. Before I could even think about dropping the tools, Jess dove in after him, shouting for help. In those split seconds, my mind raced through every safety video I'd ever watched. Never leave a child unsupervised near water. Always have a flotation device within arm's reach. Call 911 at the first sign of distress. I sprinted down the steps, dove in, and pulled them both up. First Jess, then Sam. Onto the deck, both coughing, eyes wide, lungs burning like they'd been through a furnace. They were alive, but the fear in their throats was palpable. The sound of their ragged breathing echoed louder than any poolside chatter. Their mother burst out of the house, eyes wide, voice trembling. "What happened? Are they okay?" She clutched the kids, shaking them like she was trying to revive them from a faint. I told her exactly what had transpired. If they're going to use your pool, an adult needs to be right there, watching them, not just peeking through the kitchen window. She nodded, apologized profusely, and promised stricter supervision. I thought that was the end of it. A serious lesson learned, a promise made, and the neighborhood would move on. The uninvited return. Fast forward a week. I'm coming home from work, tossing my bag on the hallway table, when I hear the familiar splash of kids playing. I step out onto the patio, expecting maybe Milo to be practicing his cannonball, but there they are, 3 kids, all 3, in my pool, laughing, splashing, and, most crucially, without any adult in sight. Their mother was nowhere to be found. My heart did a little flip. I walked up, trying to keep my voice calm. "Hey, guys, get out of the water. You're not supposed to be here without an adult." The kids looked at me with that innocent, "What did we do wrong?" expression. I told them, firmly, that they were banned from using my pool. I could see the shock on Jess's face. She was the one who had nearly drowned herself while trying to save Sam. Within minutes, the mother arrived, arms flailing, eyebrows raised. "What's going on? Why are you kicking them out? They're fine. They know how to swim." She sounded more offended than concerned. I explained, as clearly as I could, that 2 of her children had almost drowned in my pool under her watch. She brushed it off. "Accidents happen," she said, "and you're making them feel unwelcome. They love coming here." I tried to stay reasonable. "I'm not trying to be the neighborhood tyrant," I said. I just don't want to be the guy who has to pull kids out of the deep end again. I'm not their parent. I'm not a lifeguard. I'm just a homeowner who wants to enjoy his own backyard. She responded with a sigh. Fine, but they can stay in the shallow end. I'll keep a closer eye on them. I shook my head. No, it's over. They're banned. And with that, the neighborly peace we'd cultivated for years evaporated into an awkward silence that now lingers like a stale pool chemical smell. The neighborhood buzz. Now, the cul-de-sac is split. Some say I'm being a control freak, that a couple of splashes in a shallow pool don't warrant a full ban. Others agree with me, pointing out that 2 kids actually nearly drowned, and I was the one who had to act like a lifeguard with no training. Let's break down the arguments. It's just a pool camp. Kids learn to swim, accidents happen. They argue that kids will eventually grow up and become responsible swimmers. They say a little scare is a good lesson. You're being overly strict. Some neighbors say I'm turning a community-friendly space into a private fortress. She apologized, so why not give it another chance? The mother's contrition should be enough, they claim. The safety-first camp. 2 near deaths is not a near miss. That's a life-or-death scenario, not a minor slip. You were the only one who saved them. If I'm the only lifeguard in the neighborhood, should I be forced to shoulder that responsibility indefinitely? Adult supervision is non-negotiable. The mother was inside the house, not in the yard. That's a breach of basic water safety protocol. Diving into the ethics. Let's get philosophical for a moment, because every good drama needs a moral compass, right? Responsibility versus ownership. Owning a pool gives you the right to set rules for its use. Those rules can be as simple as no diving, or as strict as no one else may ever swim here. The legal side is clear. If you allow someone onto your property and they get injured, you could be liable. That's why most homeowners' insurance policies have pool safety clauses and why many municipalities require fencing and locks. The parent's role. A parent's duty is to supervise their children, especially around water. The American Academy of Pediatrics says that children under 14 should never be left unsupervised near water, even if they know how to swim. The mother's failure to be present is a breach of that duty, plain and simple. Community dynamics. In a tight-knit neighborhood, there's an unspoken expectation of mutual aid. You watch the kids while they're playing, they bring you cookies. But that goodwill has limits. When goodwill turns into risk, the scale tips. This second chance argument. Second chances are noble, but they're not infinite. If the first chance resulted in a near drowning, the logical response is a hard reset, not a just stay in the shallow and compromise. The shallow end still poses a drowning risk, especially for a 7-year-old who may not realize how quickly water can fill his lungs. What would a lifeguard do? If I were a certified lifeguard, I'd likely enforce a strict no unauthorized swimmers rule after any incident. Lifeguards are trained to eliminate variables that could lead to emergencies. In the real world, most pool owners adopt a similar mindset. If you're not 100% confident in the supervision and competency, you close the pool. I'm not a lifeguard, but I am a homeowner who just saved 2 kids from a potential tragedy. My decision to ban them isn't about petty power play. It's about mitigating risk. It's about protecting my family, my property, and, honestly, my peace of mind. The aftermath. Since the ban, the once friendly waves of neighborly banter have turned into a cautious distance. I see the Martins at the mailbox. They nod, but there's a slight tension, like a piano string about to snap. A few other neighbors have whispered, "He's being a jerk," while others have quietly said, "Good for him." I've received a text from another neighbor, "Hey, if you ever want."